Hello, my name is Cynthia, and my video is going to be on overcoming writer's block and research in writing. So I'm going to be using my poetry piece to help illustrate some of these points. Starting off with overcoming writer's block, I struggled through a lot of writer's block when writing this poem. It's a poem about sexual assault, and it's related to Greek mythology because there's a lot of myths such as the myth of Medusa or Daphne and Apollo that are related to the theme of sexual assault and then female empowerment. So some of the things that I did when I was struggling with what to write was I do a lot of research. Basically, I listen to a lot of songs, especially on Spotify and YouTube. Especially on YouTube, I watched the music videos. I saw what imagery they use, and I just thought of what words that imagery could evoke, and then I drew inspiration from a lot of the lyrics as well. And then I also read a lot of books. There's a lot of books that are like mythological retellings or just general nonfiction books based on Greek myths. And I also just did a lot of research online. Wikipedia and various encyclopedias online were my best friend in researching a lot of the Greek myths. Not only Medusa and Daphne and Apollo, but also like Persephone, Helen of Troy, and people like that. And all of whom I incorporated into my poem. As for some other things, I definitely read a lot of poems by other famous poets such as Amanda Gorman and also Amanda Lovelace, who's well known for her series of poems on the subject. I also checked out the Scholastic gallery and various sites like All Poetry or Hello Poetry, where people could just post their self-written poems for a little bit of inspiration, but also just to see what the judges were looking for. And then through all this, I started by making what I basically call a word cloud, and in that I just basically had all the words or phrases or lines that occurred to me while I was doing my research, as well as the source that I got it from in case I needed to cite anything. And finally, I looked at some famous pop culture moments. So for my topic of female feminism and things like that, I specifically referenced Halsey's Women's March speech from 2018, and I drew a lot of inspiration from her because that was a spoken verse speech. So there was rhyme in there. There was a lot of different meters and rhythms and figurative language, and I just drew from a lot of that. So I guess if I had to say this in short, overcoming writer's block and research for me were one and the same. And incorporating research into your writing can come in many forms. I know people typically think of facts and statistics and things like that, but for me, doing research meant trying to figure out what I was trying to say and what allusions or what references would be best to say it. Thank you.